What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to give you a good overview of what in fact happened with Lucid today, what the data points are saying, and where things might actually be going from here. So I'm going to go over all the stuff you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So looking at this intraday chart, very scary stuff. It actually broke through that $11 support, the very big support, like it was absolutely nothing. And when it comes to it, this was largely prompted on two different things. Economic fear, of course, is starting to resurge once again with the yields. And also there was this that was tweeted out by Lucid. So Lucid announced a $7,500 rebate, or EV credit, I should say, on the purchase of select Lucid Air models. And of course, these models are the Air Touring and the Air Grand Touring. And it's only up until March 31st, 2023. At the end of the day, I think Lucid has an amazing product, but it's just the wrong timing in the economy. The economy right now is contracting, not necessarily expanding. If it was expanding, Lucid would easily sell themselves. They are the best in class, highest performance, amazing vehicles. It's just right now they need to acknowledge that technically people do not want the Air Grand Touring. And I've been saying that for a very long time. Unfortunately, I've been getting a lot of pushback from a lot of you guys, but this has been the writing on the wall for a very long time. So this is where their upcoming earnings, their Q4 earnings on the 22nd, is critical for Lucid. They have to come out and say, hopefully, that there is a justifiable reason why they have such a very big parking lot full of vehicles, mostly Air Grand Tourings. So I think at the end of the day, also Lucid does need to acknowledge that they just need to cut the prices. Enough of these temporary 7,500 kind of EV credits, or for instance right here, based on leasing as well, or technically as well, they're 18,000 in employee discounts, which of course is very good, but 18,000 is fairly large if you want to consider it that way. So I think right now there is a lot of writing on the wall basically of a lack of demand for their vehicles. And keep in mind though, they've been saying this since Q1 of 2022. So nobody has any excuse to say that this came out of nowhere. They've been saying that the majority of their reservations are for the pure. And this is what the market does want. You notice none of these actual rebates potentially or credits is for the pure. This is for Air Touring or Air Grand Touring. This one is for Air Grand Touring. This discount is only for Air Grand Tourings. So clearly there is a very, very big demand problem with the Air Grand Touring. But once again, there is nothing technically wrong with that vehicle. It's just based on the price point, it's too high for the economy right now. And unfortunately, like I said, based on higher interest rates, inflation, which has been around since early 2022, it's been the writing on the wall. So this is definitely spooking the broader market right now with Lucid. And this is why you do see Tesla, for instance, up roughly about 5% today, give or take. So I think right now, that combined with just Lucid not coming out as far as the PIF, I think that is also another concerning point, because keep in mind, they did open yesterday as far as the questions that you could pose to management. And number one question that already has 1.2 million votes or shares represented is the Saudi PIF taking Lucid private. And I think that this is something that they should have dealt with. This isn't a question that retail should be physically asking management of. This is something that they should have came out already about. But of course, I could be completely wrong. I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but based on what happened today, I think that speaks for itself. I'll give you some quick updates as far as what did in fact happen today. Short score is currently 85, utilization is 100%, and right now the shorts did increase 2.51 million shares. So they are smelling and can feel that there's a lot of blood coming in the market right now. And looking as far as cost to borrow, it did drop dramatically. So 18.33% is the average. So I think at the end of the day, there is a lot of good opportunity for Lucid in the long term, just based on the technicals, which right now the technicals are representing that it's due for a little bit more of a further pullback. Like I said, and what I've mentioned over the last couple of videos, that $11 support was the only thing that was really prompting and holding it up. And of course, I was anticipating that it was just going to be a range bound between here, but of course, with this tentative sell-off, it kind of brought it down to that central Bollinger Band. So at the end of the day, it is basically sitting on another very big support level. And if it breaks past that, then do anticipate around the 860-ish range. So of course, like I said, a lot of different things could happen, and long term, this is just not really that big of a deal. People are going to look back 2 years from now and think that this was just an amazing time to buy. But in the short term, I think they do have to deal with a couple different things. Like I mentioned as well, the upcoming Q4 earnings is critical for Lucid. And stochastic right now is currently at 39. There is, oddly enough though, a deviation, so a little bit more of a bullish sentiment is wanting to form. Momentum, number of retail investors were just largely getting out today. RSI is currently at 53, so fairly neutral in that regard. And as far as what happened, you can see that there is a lot of puts being purchased, insinuating that clearly there is a lot more downside, whether it be because of the technicals or some other fact as well. But based on as far as this is all the dark pool transactions. And I've been bringing up over the last little bit how there's been really quietly a lot of big money buying. As you can tell here though, there was once again a lot of good buying that was happening, but not anything crazy. No 10, 20, $30 million orders today. And as far as this goes, so this is all the secondary market. So once again, what typical retail investors do trade on. There was one, so 1.17 million. And as far as right here, so 9.28 million. So, and you can tell based on the bid and the ask, this was in fact a buy. And then that was done more so after hours. So definitely that was a pretty good thing in that regard. But outside of that though, it does look like the number of transactions on the secondary market was for the most part being pulled back. So I think right now there is still a lot of good things coming for Lucid, but they just need to basically get over that Q4 earnings, which of course is on February the 22nd. As I've mentioned in the past, I anticipate that to be a massive roller coaster. They're going to say good things, bad things, and probably ugly things such as lack of demand. Or maybe Peter might just try and spin it as what he normally does and just kind of talks on technology and whatever it is. But I think at the end of the day, this truly might be the last bad earnings for Lucid, because they are really ramping up, and hopefully based on Bear's Workshop, it does look like there is some actual peers coming down the pipeline, which of course, like I already mentioned, it's been known the market wants the peer. That is plain and simple. Everyone wants the peer. So at the end of the day, I think that is where things might be going for Lucid, as far as just a little bit more of a downtrend in the short term up until their earnings, on which they can get all their dirty laundry out into the wide open, and then from there be able to trend up. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out as well in the comments if you did take advantage of this tentative dip today, or potentially where you see things going. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my Lucid content, want to support the channel, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.